welcome to the Love Positivism podcast. I'm your host, Shireen, and I'm the creator of Love Positivism. I'm here to help you on your spiritual and healing journey. I am a certified yoga and meditation teacher, a student of Chinese medicine, a doula, a Reiki practitioner, and a passionate, highly sensitive person. I want to use my knowledge to channel information and messages for you to grow on all levels. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. I'm so happy and grateful that you're here, and I hope you all enjoyed last week's episode, which was a guided meditation to feel safe, grounded, releasing fear again. So I hope you enjoyed that one. If you haven't listened to it, you can take the time in the morning or in the evening or whenever you take a break during the day to do a meditation, sitting up or laying down. It's really strengthening and powerful, and especially if you are new to meditation, guided meditations are easy to start with. And this week's episode is all about Reiki healing. It's something that I've been writing and talking about, and I really wanted to share the background and the history of Reiki with all of you, which is actually a Japanese healing technique. And I had the beautiful opportunity back in 2014 to meet my Reiki Master, and it was so beautifully synchronized because just a few weeks before I met her, I had a morning where I woke up. I had only heard about Reiki. I didn't really know what it was. I just knew it was a healing modality, and I think I've never before that had received any type of healing, but I woke up and I felt so drawn to Reiki all of a sudden. It was calling me, and I was living in Ireland back then, and I just looked up online and I found a Reiki practitioner, and exactly that day she was in the city which I lived in, and I asked her to do a session with me, and she just had one time slot. I just went there straight away, and I came out of the healing changed. I felt like a veil had been lifted. I was seeing differently, I was hearing differently. She did this beautiful healing for me. So I straight away went and bought some books about Reiki, and I had a planned trip to Japan a couple of weeks later, and on the plane I started reading about Reiki and found out that it was actually from Japan. And I saw that as a huge sign that this was also going to be my path. So when I came to Japan, I immediately looked for a Reiki Master, and I found Yuko, which is today's guest. And I have been attuned to Reiki by her 3 different times. So I'm a Reiki level 3 practitioner, and she's a Reiki Master. And in this episode, she tells her story and her way into Reiki. I'm so blessed that I went to Japan and had my first Reiki attunement there. She then came to Sweden a couple of years later, and I did my second attunement here. And last year I went back, and I also visited the mountain that the founder and master of Reiki was first introduced to this modality. So Yuko Kubota is a Usui Reiki Master and teacher, and also Kinesiologist, she's based in Tokyo. And she had her attunement actually in New York the first time. She will share her history about this. And she then went back to Japan and continued her work there. And she resides in Tokyo, as I said, and she offers Reiki healing session, classes, attunements, and other healing sessions. And she also teaches Reiki classes in other countries when she gets the opportunity. So really, this episode is all about Reiki, and I hope you can learn more to see if this is a healing modality that you need to try or that you feel called to practicing. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to contact Yuko or me about this. And I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi, Yuko.
Hello, Julie.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here. I miss you so much. And
I miss you too. It's been for a while.
Almost a year. Yeah, less than a year now. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so happy to share your work and everything with the listeners. And I always start the podcast just by asking, how do you stay mindful and present in your life?
So I just do regular Reiki practices every day, self-treatment, some meditation practices. So I don't do anything special, but just anything that makes me feel happy and healthy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. And yeah, you and me, we met back in 2014, and I had just had a beautiful experience with Reiki right before I came to you. And it was so beautiful because I didn't know anything about Reiki up until I had the Reiki treatment before coming to Japan, and then when I came to Japan, it was just beautiful synchronicity, and you had the first Reiki initiation with me as my Reiki Master, and we've been doing it 3 times together now. So the last time was in Japan last year, and I'm so happy that you're here because many people that I connect with on Instagram, on Facebook, are really interested in Reiki, like what it is and how it works. And also, I think many of the listeners don't know really the roots of it. So we're going to get into all of that in this episode. And maybe you can start by sharing more about yourself with the listeners so they get to know you a little bit and how you got into Reiki as well.
Okay. So when I found Reiki, it was more than 10 years ago. It was like 2007. And at that time, I was living in New York. And then in my neighborhood, I coincidentally found my Reiki master. And then I didn't know anything about Reiki. And actually, I was very skeptical about things like this, spirituality or healing energy. I didn't believe it. But without knowing anything, I had a chance to receive Reiki treatment from her. And it was really amazing that I could really feel the energy was flowing inside my body. And it was something that I had never experienced before. So I was really interested in it. And I decided to study Reiki with her. And then after a while, I completed all the levels until Reiki Master Teacher level. And then I came back to Japan. And in the beginning in Japan, I didn't practice Reiki so much because in Japan, actually Reiki is not so popular compared to some other country, Western countries. even though Reiki started in Japan. So people are quite skeptical here. So I didn't find so many people that I could offer Reiki treatments or attunements. So just once in a while, I offer sessions or treatments. But then after a while, yeah, I created my Reiki website, both in Japanese and English. Not because I wanted to start my business, but I just wanted to meet some like-minded people here. And then a lot of foreigners started contacting me because they couldn't find anybody who know about Reiki in Japan. So my website was the only thing that they could find something about Reiki. So yeah, I made a really nice Reiki community after a while. And then after a while, somehow I started attracting a lot of people. So now Reiki is my only thing. So I don't have to work for a company or anything. So since I found Reiki, my life completely changed. And I used to be very stressed and tired because of my work. It was really stressful. But then I started Reiki. I'm more happy, and people I encounter, they are very nice, positive people, very polite, respectful. So yeah, I'm very, very happy now that I'm very blessed that I found Reiki in my life.
Yeah, it is a beautiful path that you took, and so many people that are also learning from you and also getting healing from you. And it's a beautiful story how you actually went to the US and found more of your like roots, like the Reiki roots also in the US. So it's beautiful. And maybe we can talk about, just for people to understand where how Reiki all started. Maybe you want to talk about the history of Reiki to
Yes,
start
of
with.
course.
Yeah.
Yes. So Reiki started in Japan in 1922. Basically, there was a man whose name is Mikao Usui Sensei. And he was in a mountain in Kyoto. It's called Mount Kurama. Because at that time, he was really struggling in his life. He was trying to find out the purpose of his life, why he was there, which direction he should go. And he was even practicing Zen in a Buddhist temple for about 3 years already at the time. But even his Zen practice didn't give him the answers he was looking for. So he didn't even care to die if he couldn't find the reason why he was there. So that's why he went to the mountain and started meditating and fasting there. And then after 21 days in the mountain, fasting and meditating, all of a sudden he received powerful energy went through his body. And it was very powerful. So he almost fainted. And then at that time, his instinct told him that the energy he received was Reiki. And actually, a long time ago in Japan, like several hundred years ago, I think, there was no formal practice of religion yet in Japan. And then after a while, Buddhism came into Japan, and then Shintoism was officially developed. But before that, there was no religion. And for Japanese people, it was all about nature, and people believed in spirits in nature. And then people thought they needed to show their respect and gratitude for everything surrounding themselves, the spirits in nature. And spirits are everywhere, like all the natures, like oceans, mountains, trees, or even inside of you, inside of me. Everything's about spirits. And then they thought they needed to show their respect for that. So that was the kind of idea about God for Japanese people. So God wasn't one particular person. everything was like God for them to show their respect and gratitude. And then people call the spirits in nature Reiki. In 1922, in Mount Kurama, Usui Sensei thought the powerful energy he received was Reiki. And then he started developing how to use Reiki in his practice. That is called Usui Reiki Ryoho. So that was the beginning of Reiki practice. And then after he received Reiki in the mountain, in Mount Kurama, a lot of miracles started happening around him. For example, even right after he received Reiki in the mountain, on the way back from there, he fell down and he got injured. So he naturally placed his hands on it, and then Reiki energy started flowing and it treated his injury. And then also he went home and his wife was very sick there. Of course, Usui Sensei disappeared more than 21 days, so she didn't know what was going on with him. They didn't have a mobile phone at the time. So she worried about him. And under the stress, she became really sick. So Usui Sensei gave her hands-on healing, and Reiki energy started flowing, and she got recovered from her illness very quickly. So Usui Sensei realized he could use Reiki to heal and help people. So he was very excited. And then next month, 1 month later, he moved to Tokyo and founded the Usui Reiki Ryoho Gakkai. It's a Usui Reiki healing society. And he started introducing Reiki to a lot of people. And it was going really well, that a lot of people are interested in it. But then several months later, big earthquake hit in Tokyo and it destroyed everything. And the timing was really bad because it happened around noon, so people were preparing lunch at the time. So the fire spread very quickly. So everything was really destroyed and a lot of people died. And a lot of people were suffering from the situation. So Usui Sensei tried to help and heal people who were devastated in the situation. So he became very busy. But it was working really well, that like he felt like he could really heal and help people with Reiki. So after a while, he started traveling around Japan, not only in Tokyo, and everywhere he went, he taught Reiki to the local people. And then Reiki spread very quickly, that it is said he had over 3,000 students at that time. And then after a while, 21 students of him became Reiki Masters. And one of the Reiki Masters, his name is Chujiro Hayashi Sensei. Hayashi Sensei was a doctor. So he founded the Hayashi Reiki Clinic. And as a doctor, he started treating people using Reiki. And then after Usui Sensei died, Hayashi Sensei started teaching Usui Reiki instead of him. And then after that, there was a woman whose name is Hawayo Takata. Hawayo Takata is a Japanese American who was born and raised in Hawaii. And she was in Tokyo to meet Hayashi Sensei because she was very sick. She had incurable illness. And first of all, she needed to take an operation. But right before she was going to take the operation, her instinct told her that she shouldn't take it. So she somehow followed her instinct very well. So she canceled the appointment. And instead of taking the operation, she was looking for some alternative healings that could help her situation. And then she was introduced to Hayashi Sensei. So she visited him in Tokyo and received some Reiki treatments from him. And then she became very healthy. So it was almost a miracle for her. So of course she was amazed and decided to study Reiki with Hayashi Sensei. And then after a while, she completed all the levels. And she even volunteered for Hayashi Sensei's Reiki clinic for about 1 year to gain more experience. And then she went back to Hawaii. And then in the beginning, she just treated people around her, like family or close friends, relatives only. But later on, more people were interested in it. So she started teaching Reiki in Hawaii. And then Reiki spread very quickly over there. And then her students, and then everybody spread around the world. So that's why Reiki became internationally popular like now. So that's a brief history about it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
And
welcome.
it's very, yeah, it has a deep history, and it's become also very popular. And also there's different, one would say, styles of Reiki nowadays. So, but maybe you can, do you have any, like, how do the different styles of the healing differ from each other? I'm not really sure, because the practice that you have taught me is Usui Reiki.
Yes.
And how is it different from the other ones?
Yes. So basically, Usui Reiki is divided into maybe like Usui Reiki and also traditional Reiki and Western Reiki, briefly. And the difference between traditional Reiki and Western Reiki, basically, Western Reiki is from Hawayo Takata, the Hawaiian woman. But what she studied was traditional Reiki because she was in Japan and she was under Hayashi Sensei, and Hayashi Sensei was right under Usui Sensei. So what she studied was traditional Reiki. But on the process that she needed to teach Reiki in Hawaii, she needed to make some changes because their mentality in Hawaii, mentality is a little different, and also their regulation is different. So she needed to make some changes. For example, one of the biggest changes she made is hand positions. She created hand positions for Reiki treatments. But traditionally, Japanese Reiki people didn't have any hand positions. They were very sensitive for energy and very intuitive. So they just feel the energy and they could find out where they place their hands on. So Reiki treatment never be same depending on their situation or condition. But Hawayo Takata made it easier and more practical. So even beginners who can't feel energy very well, if they follow the hand positions, they can still give Reiki treatments. So that could be one of the reasons why Reiki became so popular in Hawaii, because anybody could practice it easily. And also, Hawayo Takata didn't share everything she learned in Japan. Seems like Usui Sensei had a lot of techniques back then, but some of the techniques, they are not just laying hands on. So a lot of moving hands techniques are some weird techniques that you don't want to really perform in this modern life. Like some techniques could be too intimate in this modern life. So probably Hawayo Takata couldn't really share everything over there. So not so many techniques are nowadays commonly used anymore. And then after Hawaii Takata, on the process that everybody spread around the world, everybody somehow developed their own way. So intentionally or not intentionally, but things started changing. So yes, some people, how they understand about Reiki could be a little different. So if you learn Reiki outside of Japan, even though it's Usui Reiki, and they say, oh, it's from Japan, it's Usui Reiki, it could be quite different nowadays. So depending on the teacher, but like everybody has their own understandings about it. So it could be quite different from traditional Reiki. But it doesn't mean traditional Reiki is better than Western Reiki, because since Western Reiki became very practical, in some countries, it goes with the conventional Western medicine very well. So, for example, in the US, they do a lot of scientific researches about energy healings. Some universities, they have some articles about it. And also some hospitals use Reiki volunteers to treat their patient. So it's really good thing about Western Reiki going with Western medicine in a hospital. But in Japan, you never find any hospitals using Reiki or energy healing. Never. So unfortunately, you never find it. And then traditional Reiki is considered as the Reiki passed down inside of the Usui Reiki Ryoho Gakkai, the healing society that Usui Sensei founded. The Usui Reiki Ryoho Gakkai still exists in Tokyo, but they are a secret society now. So they are not open to public for some reason. They don't want to do it. So only few members and their family, their close friend can receive the treatment and they can learn it. But they are basically secret society. So even Japanese Reiki practitioners like us, we don't have any access with them basically. So we don't even know where they are located. So even in Japan, nowadays, Reiki is influenced by Western Reiki a lot.
Okay, that's very interesting. And what maybe you can explain to the listeners, first of all, the meaning of Reiki and also what it actually is.
Okay, so Reiki. So in Japanese writing, it's two kanji characters. In first character, Rei, you can easily look it up if you Google the characters. And first character is Rei, and Rei means spirit. And then second character, Ki, it's energy. So in English, it's often translated like spiritual life force, energy, or something like that. And then Reiki is nowadays considered as a Japanese energy healing. And Reiki healers, they become Reiki channels to receive Reiki energy. And Reiki energy comes from the universe, and Reiki healer becomes a channel to receive it. And then wherever we place our hands on someone or something, Reiki energy starts flowing from our hands. And the energy treats everything about ourselves. So physically, mentally, spiritually, it harmonizes everything. And that can eventually help you to find out your inner power that you already have inside of yourself.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to explain it, because sometimes I think also if someone is visiting a healer or any type of practitioner working with healing, they also assume maybe that what the energy they're receiving is from the person itself, but it's actually universal energy that is channeled. So, and it also helps the body to self-heal, and that we all, I mean, there is a healing in also having the touch and the like the intention as well. Like intention creates a certain frequency that also shifts materia. So it's the intention of the receiver and the giver, and that's actually with everything. And also Reiki, what's beautiful and what you taught me is that Reiki can be practiced also not just healing people. It could be animals, it can be giving it to plants, and also I can use it for crystals and earth and the collect, like it's so big in that way. And Reiki is it's not just for, let's say, if you have a physical, mental, or spiritual or, like issue. It could be also for boosting, right? So there's so many other benefits to Reiki. And how do you see that the people that you have worked with, is it people that you work with on a regular basis that you can see benefits from, or is it one session? Like how is, when you're working with your clients, how are you working with them?
It's really depending on the situation and the person. Because some healers say, oh, you should come back here maybe once a week to receive the benefit. But for me, it's really up to them, because it's not me to help them. Reiki healer basically don't do anything. We are just channels. So we just share Reiki energy with the client. So basically we don't do anything, and it's still them to heal themselves. So how often they should come back is, it's really depending on them. So for me, I just tell them that like whenever you feel like you want to come back to receive another sessions, you can come back, so you can listen to yourself. So yeah, it's not really rules or regulation or what you should do or what you shouldn't do.
No, exactly. I think the first time with Reiki can be very, like, for me, it was like something really shifted. I didn't feel the same after that Reiki session. It was really a shift. So it was really also guiding me to the practice of Reiki, and the practice, like after the first attunement, doing a lot of self-healing was really important as well, because sometimes we forget that even if we work as healers and people that are guiding others, it's very important to work with yourself, like the master also did. So I think the self practice and taking care of yourself, and then everyone, I also see it that everyone has different experiences when they receive Reiki. Some people, they can feel relaxed and it feels nice, but maybe they don't have any specific experience, but it's still working within the body and the mind. It works on all levels. And but other people have like visions or sensations, or they feel very different, like I did after. So it's really individual. and it depends on what we need. Some people can feel energized, some people can feel tired, but it's really a deep work. And also maybe we can mention that Reiki can be practiced in person, but also distance healing. And how does that work? Because many people, that's how I work mostly with distance
Okay.
clients. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to do distant healing, you must take Reiki level 2 class and receive the symbols. And then third symbol is the distant healing symbol. So with the symbol, you are able to send Reiki to anyone around the world. So the receiver doesn't have to be in front of you, and you don't have to touch the person to heal. So if you become a level 2 practitioner, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, I feel like the distance healing is really, I think I can tap deep into my own also psychic abilities even more, and feel like the things that the person is feeling and has been feeling like very, very directly. So it's really, I mean, energy moves beyond time and space. So it's really as beneficial as being there physically. And some people might also enjoy because just to explain, Reiki is a healing modality where we have different placements on the head and the body, like it's a hands-on healing, and it's very still and it's very peaceful in that way. I know that, as you said, it's been different. Is it so that Reiki was also combined with some type of massage healings in the beginning, or did I read that wrong?
You can use Reiki and your own practice. So if you do, for example, yoga people, they often use Reiki, or massage people, they use Reiki in their massage. So you can combine Reiki and something together. So it doesn't have to be only Reiki always.
No, exactly. It's combining, and I think it's also very intuitive
Yes.
when it's when you start. You know, like what, like when it comes, and sometimes it kind of activates naturally, because there's also, maybe we can talk about that, there's a lot of rituals that are connected with Reiki as well. Maybe you can talk about that as well.
Rituals? You mean?
Yeah, so there's like the cleansings
Oh,
before.
the Reiki practices? Your
Yes,
daily practices.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, like there are a lot of techniques that you can really heal yourself, cleanse yourself, and develop your spirituality. Some practices you can learn in your Reiki classes. Because you become a Reiki healer means probably you give Reiki to others more than receiving. But if you really want to help others, the only person you can help is actually yourself. Because if you are not healed, you can't heal others. People feel your energy and that can help people. So they are healed not because of your techniques, because of your energy. So if you really want to help others, you need to really focus on yourself and practice and heal yourself. In some Reiki practices, daily practices, you can learn in your Reiki classes.
Yeah, that's really good. And also there's the 5 principles of Reiki.
Yes.
Maybe we can talk about that. I think they're beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important part of Reiki practice actually. It's called Reiki Gokai. And Gokai means 5 principles. And it is said just for today. Don't get angry. Don't worry. Be grateful. Work hard. Be kind to others. So 5 principles, and just for today, it's like you just focus on this moment and try to think about what you can do for the day. And then if it's just for today, you feel like you can do it. And then you repeat it every day. And don't get angry, don't worry, be grateful, work hard, be kind to others. They sound very simple and easy, but it's not easy at all. Actually, it's very difficult sometimes for most of us. So that's why you always go back there and remind yourself what you wanna be, what you wanna do for the day. And then Reiki is nowadays considered as a energy healing technique treatments. But what Usui sensei really wanted to teach from the principles, it's more about ultimate goal for most of us, because just for today, don't get angry, don't worry, be grateful, work hard, be kind to others. It means your energy can be really harmonized and balanced if you can be like this. So if you are so harmonized and happy, peaceful, balanced, what else do you need in your life? So this is almost everything we all need in our life. So that's why it's very difficult. And that's why we try to be like this as much as possible. So we work on ourselves to become like this as much as possible. So Reiki is a way of life, how much you can be happy, healthy, peaceful. So not just about technique, healing techniques. So it's about yourself. So not only the time you practice some techniques, entire lifestyle trying to be better and happier. It's all about Reiki. So Reiki Kokai 5 principles. It's almost everything about Reiki.
That's beautiful. And that's with most practices like yoga as well. It's not just something that you do for an hour or it's like a whole way of living. And when you start with one part, it also starts translating into other sides of your life and other areas of your life. And in the end, it's a lot about being aware and conscious about how you think and feel and act, and how are you empowering yourself and others. So that's really beautiful. I love the principles. And is there anything else that you want to share about Reiki that I haven't asked about?
So basically, if any of you, the listeners here, if you are interested in Reiki, so receiving Reiki, you can just find Reiki healers in your area. But if you are interested in becoming a Reiki healer, then you need to take Reiki courses. And in level 1 class, you gonna receive Reiki attunements. And Reiki attunements open up your Reiki channel, and then you are able to receive Reiki energy, and you can use it for yourself or others or things around you. So you need to take Reiki courses. You can practice it by yourself, basically. And I highly recommend that you learn it from a Reiki Master in person, not online courses or Skype or Zoom or whatever. No online course is basically allowed traditionally. Nowadays, a lot of people do that, but traditionally, it's not allowed because Reiki is not just about techniques. So exchanging the energy and sharing the energy with master and student and feeling something together is very important part of it. So if it's possible, yeah, I strongly recommend to find a Reiki master that you can actually meet.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it was beautiful and powerful to be there with you. I had the opportunity. I'm very grateful that I went to Japan just a short while after my first Reiki session and reading about Reiki. So I was really blessed, and the attunements that you receive from your Reiki master is really powerful. I don't know if you remember this, but you did the healing on me. We did the whole class, the attunement, and I directly during that time I started feeling like electricity through my hands, like tingling feelings. And then it was very strong actually the whole trip I was in Japan. And then also when I lifted my phone right after our session, it was like 50% charged. It just shut off. So it was like a powerful transmission then and there. And we developed, I mean, we've known each other for 6 years now. So you have if you have a Reiki master, you develop a beautiful relationship also together. And yeah, I mean, you came here to Sweden. I've been again to you. So yeah, I definitely also recommend, and that there's certain practices that are taught in a certain way. So it's important to keep those traditions, and there's always value in being in that practice, because when we all practice the same things in, like, people have done it for over 100 years and it's gonna continue, then it's very important to keep the practice, because that empowers it. Like, it empowers the symbols, the attunements. Like, the more and more we keep the rituals and traditions. That's with everything actually. So it's beautiful. And I will also definitely link all of your website and everything, so that people can find you, because you do offer also distance Reiki healings, right? I'm
Yeah,
thinking now.
sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they can read more about you, and maybe if when the time comes and it will be more traveling again,
Oh,
they
yeah.
could find you in in Tokyo, of course.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you want to share before we close the call?
No, it was just really amazing and nice to talk with you again and then connect with
Yeah.
your listeners. So I hope
Yes,
everybody really enjoyed it.
definitely. And I'm sure we will do something like this together again and share more. And if anyone has questions, they can contact you or me and we will guide them. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh,
It was
thank you.
really, yeah, nice
Yeah, I'm
sharing
so,
the energy with you and all the listeners.
yeah, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope this brought you some more clarity into what Reiki is, and if you want to try a Reiki healing, I offer distance healing, or you can contact Yuko if you want to learn more. It's really a beautiful beautiful practice, and it's really helped me on my journey to clear a lot of layers and energies that I've needed to work with in my life. And I'm so grateful for everyone who's listened and also shared the episode on Instagram and Facebook, and also left reviews on iTunes. I always do a personal oracle card reading for those that do that as a thank you. So if you do, please contact me and share so I can give you the reading. So let's end the call, end this episode with a deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And namaste.